Tonight on Newswatch, Athens residents are coming to support a local nonprofit.
Plus, new state projects in Ohio are expected to create more than 1,000 jobs.
And in sports, the Bobcats face Western Michigan in the third game of the series. Newswatch starts right now.
I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Haley Swano. Welcome to Newswatch. Well, a number of Athens residents are expected to show their support for Athens hawking recycling centers at tonight's City Council meeting.
Joining us live from Athens City Hall with the latest is reporter Jack Green. Jack.
Haley and Reese, the show of support comes just a couple days after Athens hawking recycling centers posted on Facebook saying their future looks, quote, bleak. AHRC lost about 40% of its total income after the city switched providers to Cincinnati-based Rumpke Waste and Recycling back in November. In an effort to keep trash collection local, Amesville, Nelsonville, the city of Athens, Athens County, and AHRC and the Solid Waste District all began to draw up plans for a council of governments. This would absorb AHRC's assets and allow for the provider to continue its work. But time is of the essence here. At Athens City Council meeting earlier this year, Executive Director of AHRC, Carissa Cummings, shared data with city officials showing once May hit, they were going to have to make some tough decisions, possibly making a COG not financially viable. Athens Mayor Steve Patterson says the city's law office has reviewed the bylaws and the agreements of the COG and says it could be up before council anytime soon. As for Amesville, they passed a resolution in support of the creation of a COG, with Mayor Gary Gooseman saying they are reviewing documents now as well. This is just one of many major issues on council's agenda tonight, so tune into Newswatch tomorrow for the latest from council, along with tuning in to WOUB.org for a full recap. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Jack Green, live at Athens City Hall.
Thanks so much, Jack. Well, the Athens City Police Department is being awarded for their impact on traffic safety in Athens. The APD announced they have been awarded for the 2024 Summer Holiday Enforcement Program grant through the state of Ohio. They received more than $22,000 to enforce campaigns against distracted driving, such as Click It or Ticket and Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over. The Summer Holiday Enforcement Program has mandatory campaigns that the APD will be participating in, including the 4th of July and the Athens Local Summer Blitz. Well, new state projects across Ohio are expected to create more than 1,000 new jobs. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted announced the approval for 11 projects set to create 1,025 new jobs and retain 567 jobs statewide. The projects are expected to bring more than $65 million in new payroll and over $500 in investments across Ohio. In Southeast Ohio, GKN Sinter Metals LLC in Gallia County is expected to create 50 full-time positions, which will generate more than $2.9 million in new annual payroll in result of the company's expansion project. The project includes expansion of their current facility to support differential gear and work-related vehicles for the automotive industry. Well, we are now joined by our lead forecaster, Emily Dietz. Emily, the saying April showers brings those Mayflowers hopefully is going to be true because we have a lot of rain the next couple days.
For sure. I enjoy rain and Mayflowers as much as the next person, but the rain that we're expecting is going to be a lot. And if we take a look at our flood warning map right now, we have a flood watch issued for pretty much the entire state of Ohio, as well as West Virginia, Kentucky, and even parts of Pennsylvania. And taking a look a bit to the northeast of us, we're seeing a flood warning issued from Zanesville through West Virginia. This flood watch and flood warnings will be issued until Thursday morning. That is just how long the system is going to last. It is going to be a long-lived one. Some areas may see localized rainfalls of up to 2 inches. So if you live near a pond, if you live near rivers, crooks, streams, or if you live in a valley, you are particularly vulnerable to this rain that is going to be falling. And in fact, we're already starting to see some of this rainfall just to the south of us, as well as down near the edge of Ohio and Kentucky. And right now we're starting to see some heavy rain, particularly south of Athens, Ohio. And we're going to expect to see more of that happen to the where we are in Athens and a bit to the north of us as the evening moves on and as the system continues to progress. And right now temperatures are starting to fall as we feel that rain cooled air, and our humidity is going up, which is looking very favorable for thunderstorms we are expecting later this evening and into tomorrow morning. So be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out about these thunderstorms and to learn more about how you can stay safe for all these watches and warnings that are going to be issued the next couple of days.
Well, Emily, I wish you could say that was an April Fool's joke, but I hope the weather holds up for next Monday when many will be watching the total solar eclipse. 55 of 88 Ohio counties will be in the path of a solar eclipse on April 8th. And it's been a little over a century since Ohioans have observed an eclipse like this. Besides total darkness, here's a few other things to expect during the eclipse. If it's cloudy that day, you may not be able to see it, but the solar eclipse will be a multi-sensory experience. For example, crickets may start chirping and roosters may start crowing once the sun's back out. Angela Desjardins is a physics professor at Montana State who works with NASA. She says humans are also animals, so it's important to be mindful of your own experience. The temperature may also drop by 10 degrees over the 2.5 hours of the eclipse process. Protect your private information now. That's the advice from experts if you're involved in the massive ATT data breach announced over the weekend. ATT says it's investigating how information from 73 million customers got onto the dark web. They are now notifying those affected. The breach appears to involve data from 2019 or earlier. If you think you've been hacked, experts say 1. Reset your password, 2. Ask a credit reporting agency to put a fraud alert on your account, and 3. Consider a credit freeze to block someone from opening a credit card in your name. Coming up, President Joe Biden is visiting the site of a collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. And 6-figure incomes may be the new normal for those trying to buy a house.
We're starting to see severe thunderstorm warnings issued for southwest Ohio. We're going to start to see a big severe thunderstorm warning issued for Ohio probably tomorrow. Stay tuned to Newswatch to find out how to stay safe during this weather.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, are these treasures a bargain or a bust?
I'm a lifelong thrifter and I thrift when I'm stressed.
What did you actually pay for this painting?
$15.99.
That's pleasantly surprising.
When you brought them to the table, I was immediately engrossed in them.
I wish I could shop with you.
Watch Antiques Roadshow next time from North Carolina Museum of Art in Raleigh.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
Whoa, whoa.
On Finding Your Roots, Michael Douglas.
Never heard of it. It was a closed world.
And Lena Dunham.
My 8th great-grandfather was the mayor?
An ancestor eludes the law.
Your great-uncle Michael was a wanted man. Do we know what he was wanted for?
And a heartwarming discovery.
Do a lot of people cry when this happens?
Every once in a while.
Okay.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Subtle rises in sea level.
The demise of coral reefs.
Devastating changes take place.
These events are climate change.
It's really a crossroads for humanity.
This is serious.
To heal the earth, we have to think of new ways.
Let's figure it out.
It's science, it's engineering, and it's conservation.
A new species.
Amazing.
The greatest opportunities are in chaos.
It is a breakthrough.
We're at a period of remaking the world.
Addressing global crisis.
We can change the earth.
We're doing this for the future. If we don't, what then?
The White House press secretary announced today President Joe Biden will travel to Baltimore Friday following the Francis Scott Key Bridge disaster. The president will meet with local officials and visit the collapsed structure. This as crews in Baltimore are working to open a temporary alternate channel around the wreckage of the Key Bridge. This is an essential step to get the Port of Baltimore up and running again and to get the economy back on track. Cole Higgins reports.
Demolition crews back at the site of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge Monday, removing debris as part of the complicated and extensive cleanup process that could help open up a temporary channel.
This will be for vessels that don't draw as much water, so about 11 feet, as work goes on at the same time to clear the main channel. That's 50 feet. And that's the channel we have to clear to get more container ships back into the port of Baltimore.
The Port of Baltimore, one of the busiest in the U.S., opening an alternate channel that will allow commercially essential vessels to reach the port, a major step forward in recovery for the community.
It is a critical economic hub. We've got to get this up and running.
Larry DeSantis believes he was one of the last people to drive over the bridge before a massive container ship ran into it. Heading to work that morning, crossing the bridge likely just seconds before it came down.
It took a while for it to really sink in, because the initial shock of it, but then more and more people are calling me to see if I'm alive, because they knew I traveled that time of the morning over the bridge.
DeSantis emotional when thinking of the 6 construction workers killed in the incident.
I feel sorry for those workers, I really do. I mean, they're doing their job, but, they lost their lives. So it's hard to, I rode right by them. I saw all of them. Just a minute before they probably died.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
The bodies of 4 victims have yet to be recovered. Authorities believe they are trapped in the tangle of steel and concrete underwater that crews are working to remove right now. Convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh receives another prison sentence. A federal judge sentenced him to 40 years in prison today for financial crimes involving theft of millions of dollars from his law firm and clients. Murdaugh pled guilty last year to nearly 24 charges of conspiracy, fraud, and money laundering. And for the murders of his wife and 22-year-old son, he is currently serving 2 life sentences.
President Joe Biden is dealing with backlash from conservatives for proclaiming Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility. While Transgender Day of Visibility always falls on March 31st, the date of Easter changes from year to year. Dates coincided by chance, but the proclamation still sparked controversy. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook has the details from Washington.
Republicans are now taking aim at President Joe Biden for proclaiming Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility. Biden has recognized the day with a proclamation since 2021. This year, he wrote, "It honors the extraordinary courage and contributions of transgender Americans." Former President Donald Trump's campaign called the proclamation appalling and insulting. In a social media post, House Speaker Mike Johnson said the Biden administration betrayed the central tenet of Easter.
This is just one more instance of folks who do not know how to lead us, trying to divide us.
Senator Raphael Warnock, a Georgia Democrat who is also the senior pastor of Atlanta's Ebenezer Baptist Church, defended Biden after top Democrats criticized the proclamation.
And in a moment like this, we need voices, particularly voices of faith, who would use our faith not as a weapon to beat other people down, but as a bridge to bring all of us together.
Transgender Day of Visibility started in 2009 as a day of awareness to celebrate the successes of transgender and gender nonconforming people. It's held annually on March 31st. Easter changes from year to year. This year, the 2 dates coincided by chance. In a statement, White House spokesperson Andrew Bates said, quote, "As a Christian who celebrates Easter with family, President Biden stands for bringing people together and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every American." Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Good evening. April is usually full of severe weather, and we are going to be seeing part of that. And I wish I could tell you April Fool's Day about this, but unfortunately I cannot. We are starting to see heavy rainfall in parts of Athens, Ohio, and as well as especially down to the south and southwest of us as well. And we're starting to see temperatures drop and humidity rise as we see that rain come and start to cool everything down. In fact, we have a flood watch issued for a majority of the state, as well as West Virginia and Kentucky and parts of Pennsylvania, and even a flood warning issued up near Zanesville. This flood watch will be in effect until Thursday morning, so make sure to take precautions if you live in a particularly flood-prone area, including valleys, if you have any body of water running through your backyard or near near your house. It only takes 6 inches of moving water to sweep you off your feet, and we want to keep you as safe as possible. Along with this rain is coming a severe thunderstorm system. So right now, southeast Ohio is in this slight risk area, which means we may see areas of isolated thunderstorms, which include some wind as well as some hail in the area. But for the most part, we're just going to be seeing some strong thunderstorms tonight. Tomorrow is when we're going to be seeing the bulk of the system. But what's going on to cause this system? Well, we started with an occluded front, which has now moved towards the east, and that's when you have 2 frontal systems come together, typically a warm front and then followed by a cold front. And then that system stalled out a little bit and is just kind of holding here down near Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. And that's what's really causing a lot of this mayhem, along with this low pressure behind it. So right now, this occluded front has moved towards the east, a stationary front has moved towards the east. And now we're seeing a warm front, and that's pulling up a lot of this warm air up from the south. And a lot of this humidity is also mixing for a really nice thunderstorm recipe. Now we have this low pressure behind it that's also going to be moving through tomorrow. And that's really going to help with a lot of convection needed to produce these severe thunderstorms. And as the cold front, even behind this low pressure system, moves through as well, that's also going to help fuel. So we have a lot of things going on between this warm front, warm air, moisture, instability that's really going to allow for a lot of thunderstorms to be sparking up. And taking a look tonight, we're going to see that 100% chance of showers, some even starting now. If you live a bit to north of Athens, Ohio, you may see that starting a little bit later because we're just getting a little taste of that system right now, and we're going to see a low of 57. So temperatures won't be dropping too much, especially since we have that cloud coverage and we're going to be seeing that warm front. Tomorrow we'll see temperatures similar to today, up in the 70s, and that 90% chance of showers, and those showers are going to be a lot of rain. We're going to see areas to 2 to 2.5 inches isolated of that flooding possible. And tomorrow we're also looking at a severe thunderstorm risk area. So this red area, taking a look at that, is that moderate risk for severe weather, and that includes widespread severe thunderstorms, and they're going to be long-lived. And that longevity is really because that system is more of a horizontal system than usually our vertical cold front that we see moving through lasts about an hour or 2. So since the system is horizontal and moving through from the west to the east, that's going to be pulling a lot of that air with it. And then as we take a look in this orange area, that's our enhanced risk area, and that's going to see numerous severe thunderstorms as well, but we're also looking at a threat of tornadoes. So taking a look at how we can stay safe, we also have that low pressure system that's going to be moving in along with these frontal systems. So it's important tomorrow, as we see severe weather come through, that we also know how to stay safe. We may see risks of tornado warnings and tornado watches. So what happens when you see a tornado warning, or a tornado watch? A watch means conditions are favorable, but we have not seen a tornado yet. That's typically a larger area. We see that such as counties wide, but if you see a tornado warnings, that means you need to seek shelter immediately and that a tornado has been confirmed or we're about to see one. Make sure to have that plan in action before these are issued of where you can go. You want to be in the inside most room of your house, or you want to be in the basement. You want to keep yourself away from as many windows as possible, and if you're in a car, you want to find a building as immediately as possible. This is not the time to go outside. So if you see any warnings issued, make sure to have your phone charged, phone on hand, and a way to be alert as we move into the severe weather tomorrow. I'll catch up with you later to tell you about tomorrow's and the rest of the week's weather.
Thanks, Emily. Well, in nearly half of U.S. states, you'll need a 6-figure household income if you want to buy a house. Bankrate.com's new analysis says buyers need to make more than $100,000 to comfortably afford a median-priced home in 22 states and Washington, D.C. Analysts assessed affordability as whether mortgage payments could be made assuming a 20% down payment with a 30-year fixed rate. They didn't factor in closing costs, home maintenance costs, and non-housing item costs, which all home buyers have to take into consideration. States that need the highest household income to afford a typical home are California, Hawaii, D.C., Massachusetts, and Washington.
Next in sports, the Bobcats face the Chippewas in the final match of the series. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube.
Una vez que dejes tu casa, tierras ajenas, es muy difícil.
Y ahora que lejos me encuentro sin luz, sin amor.
Cuando ya no los tiene uno, con el alma quisiera uno aunque sea verlos.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
22-year-old Jack Teixeira pled guilty to all 6 counts he faces. talking to Jack's friends. The internet was a huge part of his life.
We spoke about conspiracies and how we distrusted government.
Should the military vetting process have caught all of these aspects of his personality?
The vetting system is pretty robust, but it's not perfect. There were countless missed opportunities, and as a result, we have one of the worst leak cases in modern times.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Some say William F. Buckley created the modern conservative movement.
America had better strike out on a different course.
The most visible face of the conservative movement.
He became a huge best-selling author and host of his own TV show.
Foreign line.
Sometimes insufferable, always incomparable.
Thank you, the Overseas Press Club. I sometimes wish all the press were overseas.
Don't miss the incomparable Mr. Buckley.
Isn't that exciting?
On American Masters.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
Regardless of your stage of life, whether you're starting your first job, getting the keys to a new home, or enjoying retirement, it's never too early or too late to create an estate plan to care for loved ones and support the causes that are meaningful to you. WOUB Public Media is pleased to have partnered with Giving Docs, a free resource for building an estate plan that fits your needs and protects the people and causes you care about. Visit WOUB.org and click the Support tab to get started today.
Welcome back. I'm Peyton Brooker. Over the weekend, the Ohio softball team were in action on Saturday as they finished up their series with Central Michigan, winning 7-3. The Chippewas started the day with the advantage, gaining 2 runs in the first, but the Bobcats were quick to capitalize. In the second inning, senior Sidney Grind would hit this shot towards left field to tie up the game. From there, the Bobcats would rally to another home run that would be hit in the third inning by freshman Brendan Farmer. Ohio would go on to score all 7 of their runs unanswered onto the 15th win of the season. Pitching for the Bobcats was sophomore Skip Miller, who would allow only 5 hits and 0 earned runs, gaining her 8th win of the season as we're nearing halfway towards the regular season. For tomorrow afternoon, Ohio softball plans to travel to Kent State to take on the Golden Flashes. Kent State are coming off a 2-1 series loss to Northern Illinois and are hoping to improve the results back in the Divine Diamond. For the Bobcats, Tori O'Brien leads Ohio with a .378 batting average with 4 stolen bases. For Kent State, Savannah Wing leads the team in RBIs with 27, with them along with Emily Lipp leading the Golden State home runs with 7. First pitch is planned to be at 12 o'clock, though this is subject to change to inclement weather in the area across the state. The Bobcats won't return to Athens until the weekend against Northern Illinois. Finally, for Athens baseball, they are in action against Megs tonight with the Marauders as their first TVC Ohio contest. The Bulldogs began their season with 3 wins and only 1 loss to Uniodo, as currently on a 3-game winning streak. On Saturday, Athens were successful, winning 6-2 against the Amanda Clear Creek Aces. Leading the team was catcher David Sharp, who went for 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. And on the mound, junior Noah Sinkoff would pitch all 7 innings, currently getting 7 strikeouts for the win. Currently, the Bobcats are in the 5th inning, leading Megs 14-1 as they look to make it 4 in a row and a strong start in the conference. That's all I have for here for sports. Back to you, Haley and Reese at the desk.
Thanks, Peyton. Well, still ahead, has someone pulled a prank on you yet? Today is April Fool's Day. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
On Paul the Midwife.
Fine, won't let me do anything.
You're still convalescing from tetanus. Home, now.
Are my children sick? We don't know, and we have to find that out.
Oh, please God, tell me I can push.
We need Dr. Turner.
How much longer until you're gonna be home?
You have other responsibilities.
Yes, and they include a woman in labor.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
On Masterpiece. The computer system Post Office spent an arm and a leg on is faulty.
No one else has ever reported any problems.
You're responsible for the loss.
I haven't got that money.
I'm not a thief. It must be a bug.
What are we going to do?
Fight.
The post office is a national institution.
They destroyed our whole life.
Here we all are, ready to tell our stories.
Mr. Bates versus the Post Office on Masterpiece. Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
It is stunning. Solar eclipses.
The world stops for a moment.
What can these cosmic spectacles teach us?
We are in a golden age of solar physics.
Coronal mass ejections can affect our power grid.
We need to be able to predict these things.
Great American Eclipse.
Phenomenal!
On Nova.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
When you hear the term the future, what does that conjure up?
What we do and the things we create over the next few decades will shape all minds going forward for the rest of time.
I set out in search of people who are building better futures.
Civilization is precious. Life is precious.
Hundreds of years from now, they're going to look back on our generation as the most pivotal in human history.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Finally tonight, if you unknowingly poured salt instead of sugar into your coffee this morning or had the unfortunate experience of finding a whoopee cushion beneath your seat, you're not alone. Today is a prankster's favorite pseudo holiday, and as Mandy Gaither explains in today's Health Minute, some experts say April Fool's Day may actually be good for your health.
Whether you're the prankster,
He got me.
or the unsuspecting target, April 1st may actually give your health a boost, and that's no joke.
April Fool's is a great day to give yourself permission to let loose, to laugh, to be silly.
Psychologist Susan Alberts with Cleveland Clinic says this day is devoted to fun, and a prank or joke may be just what you need to relieve some stress and connect with others.
We love a good laugh. It helps us to bond with the people in our lives, but it also has benefits to our body. When we laugh, it releases oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical. That's why we feel close to other people when we all join in a good laugh.
But to make this day a potential health success, Albert says to know pranks may be coming and remind yourself it's all in good fun.
It can make you a little bit nervous, but being prepared and being aware helps you to laugh a little bit harder.
If you're the prankster, Albert says to read the room and make sure your joke is appropriate.
Are people laughing? Are they doing a belly laugh? Or are they shutting down? This gives us a good clue if this is funny or to be very cautious.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, well, how about it? Did you guys have any good April Fool's jokes today?
Well, I just like to shout out our reporter Jack Green today. Before the show, he actually prank called me a total of 5 times before I realized it was him. And yeah, I'm not surprised though, and I totally fell for it.
Those prank calls like always get you every time when someone just gets you and all that.
Yeah,
he was enjoying himself sitting back there watching us all confused.
Well, like I was saying earlier, Emily, is the rain an April Fool's joke?
I wish I could say yes. I wish I could tell you we were going to have nice 70-degree days this week, but unfortunately we are not, and we are starting to see some thunderstorms and some rain pop up. And tonight we're going to see 100% chance of showers and our low of 57. So it will be slightly warmer tonight if that's the only good thing that's going to come out of the system, because tomorrow we are at a marginal risk for severe weather. We are looking at that red area, and we may see some isolated tornadoes, long-lived severe thunderstorms. That includes hail, that includes wind damage. So if you live in an area, we're also going to see some rain along with that. So if you live in an area that's flood prone, if you have loose limbs on any trees around you, make sure to stay inside. If we do have a tornado warning issued for your area tomorrow, make sure that you go to the most interior part of your home as well. Make sure to stay weather aware and make sure to have your phone on you tomorrow throughout the day as weather will be issued. We're going to see a lot of the severe weather coming in mainly the late afternoon into the evening hours and throughout the rest of the night. And the rest of this week is looking pretty rainy as well. And Thursday into Friday, we see that cold front move through, and we actually see a small chance of some flurries. So we're going to be getting it all this first week. Ohio is playing a very big weather prank on us, and I'm not looking forward to it. I have to say that. So hopefully this weekend will be a lot nicer, and hopefully you all stay safe these next couple of days. Make sure to stay weather aware.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Emily Dietz and Peyton Brooker, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Haley Sueno. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next, and have a great night.